Hello everybody, welcome back to Foxy Boxes. It's me, Sparks, and we're going to get back into the project. Woohoo! So, today, I've been thinking quite a lot about this, and it may seem like I haven't done anything on this map in some time, but I have actually been writing the script for the game, and talking to voice actors. So, currently, the first scene has been written, and I've sent it off to Gladrick, who is potentially going to be voicing Renard, the support character for the game, the other fox that travels with you, and also to Mary, Lapis Demon, who has agreed to try voicing Raposa, who is the playable main character. So they've got their lines. I've written the script for the first scene, and once I have those in, we're going to do an episode where we start sort of actually building this this scene as a cutscene into the game, which I think will be very, very interesting. It may very well be more than an episode, because I think it's going to be a ton of work, and we're going to have a lot of fun playing around with that. But today, I was thinking a lot about the menu, and how disappointed I was that we had this real issue with, well, you can see them down here at the bottom of the screen. I had this beautiful sort of looping, blazing beams coming out of this radio, and they look terrible because in Minecraft it really destroys a lot of the whatchamacallit, the alpha transparency isn't very powerful, so it just looks bad. So I was trying to think, I was kind of very disappointed and despondent about that for a long time, and then I realized that we can probably do something else. So the ink sac, I'm going to try actually moving the menu, like completely getting rid of the menu, and actually using the E button, which opens the inventory, as a keybound key. So we can actually use it as an action key. So we can detect when an inventory is opened using a statistic. We can't detect when an inventory is closed, but we can physically close an inventory by setting a portal block at the head of the player, which I think is kind of awesome. So we can actually detect when they press E, trigger whatever we want to do, and then close E. And we've got all these slots down here, and they're basically action keys as well. By pressing different number keys on my keypad, I can hold different items, and we can detect which slot is selected. So we can use a lot of the pre-bound keys in Minecraft that we haven't actually been touching yet. So I actually did bind a model to the ink sac, which doesn't seem to have worked. So I guess I need to fix that a second, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, I think I need to work a little on my centering. Okay, so I think that my texture itself isn't very centered here, but this is in the offhand slot as a cover for my screen. You can see if I go into F5 mode, it needs to be slightly rescaled in those views. But I'm a little disappointed because when I move my mouse, it does this. And it also shades it based on whether you're looking up or down. The reason I'm disappointed about this is because, by the way, it's invisible if you throw it, is because Simply Sark did a video about this recently, which kind of, I have to say, inspired me to try this method. And in his video, he showed how when you hold an item in the offhand slot, it doesn't bob when you move the mouse, and it doesn't shade depending on the direction you're looking. So to find that it's doing that is a little bit of a shame, really, because I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, whether they've changed that very recently in Minecraft. Either way, I was thinking about possibly something we could do is basically go into BDcraft and model an arm with a wrist strap projector on it, right? And so when we open the menu by pressing 9 or whatever button it is we press, we teleport the viewer's camera down like this as we bring up the arm. So it'd be something like this. And this would be this is obviously just a placeholder image. It would be sort of a translucent image with the menu options on it, and we would hopefully have this projector beam on this image if we can do that. If we can do better transparency using that as an option. So you kind of be up here. You press 9 and the you press 9 and it automatically looks down and then opens the menu like that. So what we could then do is, while we're looking down, we could have this as the background, like so, and then have like a list of options, like menu options on this screen with number keys next to them. So if I press 1, then we will have, in the first slot of the inventory, we will have text, like text option number 1, like return to lobby. You press 1, it'll highlight slot 1. You're already on slot 9 because you use that to open the menu. So then you've got slots 1 to 8 to choose up to 8 things per menu to either go onto a sub-menu or to make something happen. Alternately, we could, I'm just going to take that off so we can see, we could make it so that we've got our menu, and when you move the mouse up, it detects you've moved it up, teleports it back down, and moves up to the next selection. Or if we move the mouse down a little bit, it detects we've moved it down, teleports it back to the resting position, and moves us down a selection point, which I don't know which I prefer. I mean, in my experience, selection with the mouse looks a bit jarry when you sort of go up and it goes boop like that, and it sort of goes boop and it teleports it down, and the same that way. It looks a bit horrible. I don't know whether I like the idea of numbers being next to the options particularly. But it's certainly an option. So yeah, we could do something like that, and then just depending on which key. So people press 9, it will put this menu into their offhand slot, and then when they highlight any of these, we can put the actual menu text in slot 9, so it appears when they hold it, and when they push the button, it'll switch to that slot. Something like that. I'm really disappointed about the swaying thing. I mean, if we lock players' movement, it's basically what I'm thinking. If we lock their movement while they're in the menu, so they press 9 and menu makes them look down, and we give them slowness and anti-jump boost or whatever it is, so they can't move, then they can move their mouse if they like, but it'll just they won't be able to move it very far. I've just put a shield in my offhand slot here, and that is not, it is also bobbing. So is that, I'm inclined to believe that I'm not doing something wrong here. I think that this is just a change that's been made. So I don't know whether to go with this as a menu option or not. I mean, it has several advantages over the inventory. The inventory, we've got a lot less space to work with. We've only got this amount of square space here that we can texture. We've got these potion effects here, which we're going to have to cover up because we don't want that to be displayed for the viewer. We've got, you'll be able to pick up different elements of the menu. We've seen that over here where you can just sort of move around parts of the menu. We can fix it if they do that, but we can't stop them picking it up in the first place. So it just might be a bit of a weird experience, whereas this, it does bob, but if we can keep them still... actually, let's just quickly try this a second. I'm going to get a repeat command block. Okay, so I've got a repeat command block here, teleporting everybody to look straight down if they have a tag of temp. Scoreboard players, tag, sparks, temp, add temp. Obviously doing this so that I can... fix it later. So if we hold this open, it's a little jarry. Oh god, when you look up and down, oh man, that's horrible. Minecraft, why? I don't think there's really anything we can do to stop them doing this. I mean, it's their own fault if they spoil the immersion by messing with that, but I wish we could just physically stop them from moving their bloody mouse, and we don't want them to. Let's see, put that back. Okay, so, oh yeah. Remove the tag, because I'm not always silly, and sometimes I remember to give myself a way out of these situations. So, I guess let's play around with menus a little bit today. Okay guys, check this out. So it looks like slot 9 is empty, but if I press F to change my slots, ha! Look at that. So this is like an arm, a fox arm with a little communication beam wristband thing on it, which is pretty cool. I'm actually fairly pleased with that. I used the textures from Rotten Nuggets Renard model for the arm. So I did model it myself, but the texturing is from him. And I did the wristband myself, can't you tell? You can imagine that the redstone torch would just be... I'm basically just avoiding my arm, my hand showing here, but it could just be a blank item. Otherwise, it looks a bit weird if you've got the fox arm and my arm like this. It's like, what am I doing? It looks like my arm's broken. But since we'll be hiding the right hand, I believe, for the entire game, that's cool. So something like that. I think I may play around with the positioning a little more. But I mean, that doesn't even matter too much if it sways, because it's kind of there, you can see it hidden now, because it's your arm. So that makes kind of sense. Now I'm imagining that what I'm going to try and do is kind of get a beam effect coming off of that. I'll do similar to what we did in a previous episode. I'm going to basically look straight down like this with a blue background and screenshot it, and then I'll go into Premiere Pro and try and get a beam animation coming out of this section here, and then I'll add that to the model and overlay it. So we will just have to see how that looks. Could look amazing, could look crap. There are probably better people than me to do this, but I'm having fun, so, you know. Going to work on the positioning of the arm a little bit. We may not be able to do this sort of angled beam in Premiere Pro. I'll have to have a look. But in general, it's pretty neat. Also, I've modeled it so it looks completely normal in other field of views. Not that we're encouraging people to play in any other field of view. And if you throw it, it's invisible as well. So it's kind of cool. I love the fact... Oh, dear. I love the fact that you can model an item differently depending on whether it's in your right or left hand. It's pretty neat. I do want to actually... Just curious here, what happens if we go to options and is it under controls? Like to change which one is the dominant hand. So if a left-handed player were working on this, main hand left is under skin customization. What happens? It appears to still display on the left of the screen, which I guess is good. Like, except I think now I'm punching with that hand. Let me get rid of that. That's weird, look at that. So it replaces your arm. Kind of strange. I guess it's not going to break anything though, so that's good. Oh, okay. So not quite what we were after yet, but we're getting there. So I've got the 3D hand model, which I made in BD Craft Cubic Pro, and I went into Premiere Pro, and I took a screenshot like I said I would, and then overlaid the beam on in Premiere Pro, and then added the light effect and exported just the light layer. So this is like a separate layer right here that I've just stuck on top of this 3D hand. But because the hand was angled on my screen when I took the screenshot, and it's technically straight in Minecraft, it's a little offset. But I just wanted to do this quickly to see what problems we'd run into, and sure enough, ignoring the fact that it basically goes black when you look up, you can see that Minecraft is doing its feathering thing again. So it's kind of decided that after this particular threshold of opacity, it's going to give up and just cuts it out, which is really, really, really annoying. But we're going to have to deal with it. So first of all, I don't seem to be able to get this square here to be the full size of the screen. And secondly, we have this layering problem. So it's a good thing we checked this before I went and did a huge animated texture for this cover. So what I'm gonna try doing is, instead of making it a 3D model of an arm placed in front of us, I'm literally gonna screenshot the arm, cut it out, and then I will place it directly in front of the player's field of vision, similar to how we were doing at the start of the episode with that grey screen. So it'll look like a 3D arm, but it'll actually be a 2D texture. And that way we'll be able to cover the entire screen. And the second thing, to handle this this petering off, I figure all I need to do is add a slightly darkened background. Because if you open your inventory, we already get that. And I think it kind of makes sense that if you're staring straight into a beam of light, the background is going to look slightly darker anyway. So to avoid this sort of cutting off thing here, we're going to try making it as a 2D texture, which will actually probably reduce the model size and stuff, which will be good. And then also add a sort of slightly darkened background to it. And I think that'll probably work quite nicely. I think I'm going to make this arm a little longer as well, so when you look this way, it doesn't... I guess I can't completely stop people doing it, but I think the same thing applies. I think when people open this menu, I'm going to freeze them in place. I don't know if I'm going to make them look down, but I think I might, because if you look at what the hand does... I wonder, if we're in a cave somewhere, if we're in the dark... Yeah, it makes it all... Oh no, it doesn't care. Kind of cares. We need a darker platform. Strobe lighting, beautiful. Oh, it's so irritating. I swear I have like ambient occlusion and stuff turned off, but it doesn't care. I think that might only be for nothing. I don't think it really exists. I think it's a checkbox that doesn't actually do anything. Okay, so I'll be back when I've tried that. Alright, this is looking a lot better. Look at that. So this is that 2D image that I was talking about. Again, still not animated, and I added a slight opacity in the background, and you can see there's just a little tiny bit over here. This is the 10% opacity background. I'm going to try 15 next. We still have the darkening issue, but it looks pretty good, especially if players aren't allowed to move their screen while they're in this menu. So I'm going to go fiddle with it a bit more and see what I can do about the layout. Oh god, yes. Oh my god, doesn't that look good? It's working, guys. So, oh my god, the amount of work this took to get it to work. So, turns out that 38 frame 1080p animations are too large to fit into a PNG file. So, I was having trouble actually saving it as a PNG for the longest time, and then when I finally managed to get the size down small enough in Photoshop, I had to downscale it to 720p, and it was still causing Minecraft to crash. Like Minecraft would run out of memory trying to load this 3D texture, this animated texture. So, geez, okay, but got it working in no small part thanks to Gamer Guppy, who helped me quite a little bit with file size. And actually, the final animated texture I had, which was 17 megabytes in size, he managed to get it down to this version, which is 4 megabytes in size and looks no different, which is just mental. You'll notice that the arm is bobbing slightly back and forth. I misaligned some of the textures. So, but wow, I think it looks fantastic. It was originally 38 frames of looping animation. I cut out every other frame. That's the only way I could make it small enough to fit in to save as a PNG. So one thing I'm going to try and do is interpolate the frames to see if that makes it smoother, because I think the beams are moving a little bit too fast. So we're going to try interpolation, partially just to see how it looks. Now, for animated textures and interpolation and all of that, I recommend you look at Samosaurus's Modeling Minecraft episode on the subject, which is basically what I look at when I need to remember how to do this stuff. Very clear, very well explained. So the last thing I want to try to do in this episode is the interpolation, because this has literally taken a day to make this episode. It's ridiculous. And I just wanted to mention two things. First of all, diamond hose, or like tools. You know, we are using the damage values of tools. Oh my god. Moving swiftly on. The damage values of tools to display different textures depending on the damage value. Samosaurus made a video quite recently which has this has a test where he discovered that having lots and lots of predicates to a model value causes a huge frame drop. So I'm actually trying to slightly avoid using hose at the moment until, like tools, until they fix that, unless I run out of vanilla textures. But I'm going to work my way through the regular items first. So, like the dies and other things that don't do anything when they're held in your hand. Diamonds, stuff like that. I'm going to go through those first to try and cut down the lag caused by these this predicate issue. And the final thing I wanted to say is I know why it's bobbing. And for those of you who haven't quite noticed yet, this is a series where I go through the process of map making. I come across a problem, and then I take you through me finding a solution or not. So if you commented earlier in the video saying it's bobbing because you are holding it in your hand, it's not an item, it's not in the GUI, then yeah, go delete your comment. Because I get a lot of people still commenting when it gets solved later in the video. So it's bobbing because it's not an item, it's actually being held. Interestingly, I could technically have this as the held item, and then the text that we see coming out of this hologram as the actual item in the GUI offset. So we can actually use the item for two separate layers of a model, which is kind of crazy. I think in the next episode, perhaps we will look at actually setting up this menu to do stuff, to change things and settings and restart the level, stuff like that, options, and like getting it to activate when you push buttons and stuff like that. But I think it's pretty good. I'm still a little disappointed that when you look up, it goes black. It's kind of stupid. Okay, onto the predicates, by which I mean interpolation. Okay, so here we are. This is before interpolation. When I reload this model, when I reload the texture pack, which I'm doing now, I've halved the frame rate to 10, and I have interpolated it. So we'll see how that looks. Also, Minecraft freezes when trying to reload this texture. Oh my god, that is not good. I mean, it's actually kind of almost there. Like, you can see it sort of shifting mesmerizingly. And in one sense, as a result, it looks really good. But that doesn't seem like... I think I've set it too slow, basically. Let me try a faster speed on that. Because this is back to the original frame time of 20 frames a second. See what it does. Minecraft literally freezes up each time I refresh this. Oh wow, okay, is this a... Right, so it looks like Minecraft actually might not be physically able to interpolate quickly. Like, are we actually, like, reducing the frame rate of the animation because of the size of it? If I get I'm really curious about this now. If we get a sea lantern, does the animation on the sea lantern slow down because the animation on the hand is so bad? No, the sea lantern looks about normal. Yeah, I think. Oh, okay. So I don't. I don't think interpolation is going to be an option here. It's actually worse now. What happens if I set it to like the frame time to 1 frame a second? Let's go with 5. We'll try 5 and see how that looks. That actually looks better. Okay, well, let's try 1. Well, I wasn't expecting this. It's sped up. That's on a 1 frame a second speed. What is this? Difficult to say which one's best. The jittery arm definitely becomes more noticeable when we do this. But... I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you reckon it should be a little slower like this? Should we leave it at the full speed that we had before? So I guess next episode we'll work on text to appear over here, over the actual menu, and like entering and exiting the menu, and selecting things, stuff like that. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Let's finish off by giving Renard a high five. High five, buddy.